everyone, this is Alice. Did you know that sunflowers can clean up radioactive messes? Yes, that's correct. And there's much more to these pretty faces. Stick around because you're about to uncover 10 astonishing facts about sunflowers. First, sunflowers do not always follow the sun. In the morning, sunflowers will stand together, all facing east, and begin their romance with the rising sun. As the sun moves across the sky during the day, young sunflowers follow its light from east to west, until the sun disappears over the horizon. At night, in its absence, the sunflowers face east again, anticipating the sun's return. We all know that sunflowers follow the sun, hence the name sunflower. However, I do remember one day during traveling, I saw a field of sunflowers remaining in the same position to the sun in the morning and in the evening. I thought to myself, why is that? Actually, sunflowers only follow the sun in their early growth phase, or bud phase. The sun-tracking behavior is known as heliotropism. However, as sunflowers mature and reach their flowering stage, they stop moving. Then, always facing east, the old flowers await visits from insects that will spread their pollen and make new sunflowers. Those flowers too will follow the sun. This eastward orientation allows the flower to maximize its exposure to the morning sunlight, which is usually the most intense and beneficial for pollination. So that's what I saw. Fixed sunflowers. Second, sunflower is a botanical compass. Now that we know how sunflowers track the sun, but why do they follow the sun? There are actually two reasons. First, chemical reasons. Sunflowers' sun-tracking ability are controlled by the growth of their stems. Imagine one side of the stem is growing while the other not. Naturally, bending occurs. The stem growth is controlled by growth hormones called auxins. Like those of other plants, the stems of young sunflowers grow more at night, but only on their west side, causing their heads to bend eastward. During the day, the stem's east side grows, and they bend west with the sun. It is always the shaded side that grows faster, causing the sunflowers to lean and orient itself toward the sun. Second, magnetoreception. Sunflower is not only sensitive to sunlight, but also to Earth's magnetic field. Researchers have discovered that even when the sun isn't visible, like on cloudy days, sunflower seedlings still display their east-to-west heliotropic movement. This suggests that they're using the Earth's magnetic field as a secondary cue when the sun isn't visible or during the night. In essence, sunflowers are like tiny botanical compasses that can interact with and respond to the world around them. This ability helps sunflowers maximizing their exposure to sunlight, which is crucial for their growth and development. Third, one sunflower contains thousands of smaller flowers. Maybe you have observed a sunflower from up close. You will see that sunflower heads are composed of thousands of individual flowers, each with its reproductive structures. These composite flower heads are made up of two types of flowers. First, ray florets. These are petal-like flowers that surround the outer edge of the sunflower head. Each ray floret has a single large petal that looks like a petal, but is actually a modified flower. The ray florets are typically bright yellow and serve to attract pollinators with their colorful appearance. They do not produce seeds. Second, disc florets. The disc florets are the small tubular flowers located at the central disc of the sunflower head. These florets are densely packed in the center and are typically darker in color. Each disc floret contains both male and female reproductive parts. These are the fertile flowers responsible for producing seeds. When a sunflower is in its bud stage or early growth phase, the florets are typically compacted and tightly closed. The combination of ray florets and disc florets in the sunflower head creates the appearance of a single large flower, but in reality, it's a cluster of many individual flowers. This unique arrangement is a defining characteristic of the Asteraceae family, which includes not only sunflowers, but also daisies, dandelions, and many other familiar plants. 4. Sunflowers change colors as they mature. Sunflowers are like living mood rings. They change colors throughout their lives, keeping up with each season's trending color. When they are young, they often have deep or purple pigments. As the sunflower matures and begins to bloom, it gradually transitions from the colorful bud stage to the iconic golden yellow appearance that sunflowers are known for. The outermost ring, florets, opens first and displays the brilliant yellow color to attract pollinators. In contrast, the inner disc florets remain closed at this stage. After successful pollination and fertilization, the sunflower enters the post-pollination stage. During this phase, the disc florets at the center of the flower head begin to change color. They gradually transition from their bright yellow hue to a deeper, darker shade. This color change is a sign that the florets are maturing and producing seeds. Over time, the disc florets continue to darken, eventually becoming brown or black. This darkening indicates that the seeds are maturing and accumulating nutrients, making them suitable for eventual dispersal and propagation. During this stage, the sunflower's head is also dropping due to the weight of the seeds. 5. Sunflowers communicate with each other. Did you know that sunflowers can communicate with each other? They use a fascinating process called allelopathy, where they release chemical signals into the soil. When a sunflower encounters a threat, such as herbivorous insects or harmful pathogens in the soil, it doesn't keep its stress to itself. Instead, it starts secreting chemicals known as allelochemicals into the ground. These chemicals serve as warning signals to neighboring sunflowers. They are like the sunflower's way of saying, "Hey friends, there's trouble nearby." When other sunflowers detect these chemical cues, they can activate their own defense mechanisms to fend off the impending danger. Their defense mechanisms include producing secondary metabolites, chemical compounds, defensive proteins, and enzymes that affect their own cells or the soil microbiome to deter herbivorous insects and harmful pathogens. Being able to stay away from danger and sickness is also one of the reasons they can grow huge. 6. Sunflowers can clean up radioactive messes. Remember Chernobyl? Sunflowers played a big role in the cleanup. They can absorb radioactive contaminants from the soil and help remediate polluted areas. They can do so through a process known as phytoremediation, which means using plants to clean up contaminated environments. They first accumulate heavy metals and radioactive elements from the soil through their deep roots. Once absorbed by the roots, the radioactive contaminants are transported through the sunflower plant, ultimately reaching the above-ground parts, including the stems, leaves, and sunflower heads. This process helps to remove contaminants from the soil and concentrate them in the plant's tissues. After a sunflower has matured and accumulated a significant amount of radioactive material, it can be harvested. This biomass can then be treated as radioactive waste and safely disposed of, reducing the overall contamination in the affected area. Sunflowers are hyperaccumulators, which means they can accumulate these contaminants at concentrations far higher than typical plants without experiencing significant harm. It is amazing to see that sunflowers are nature's radiation fighters. 7. Sunflowers can be gigantic. I'm sure you have seen giant sunflowers once in your life. I remember I saw one that is over 2 meters tall in a garden. Sunflowers can reach towering heights in the right environment with ample sunlight, water, and nutrients. The largest sunflower ever recorded, recognized by Guinness World Records, measured a whopping 9.17 meters in height. That's as tall as a 3-story building. Imagine having one of these giants in your backyard. This giant sunflower was grown by Hans-Peter Schiffer and was officially measured on August 27, 2014. Sunflowers have the potential to grow huge due to a combination of different factors. Common sunflowers have genetic traits that allow for significant growth. These traits include the ability to produce large and robust stems, leaves, and flower heads. They have long growth period from spring to autumn and optimal spacing, meaning they have enough resources for growth. They also have extensive root systems and they are highly efficient at photosynthesis, which means they can eat and drink a lot. 8. Sunflowers went to space. Intriguingly, sunflowers have been to space. In 2012, NASA astronaut Don Petit grew several plants on International Space Station, or ISS, including a sunflower in plastic baggies that he had brought on board as a personal science experiment. Petit found out plants grown in zero gravity end up looking really unusual. So here I had the sunflower, and he was 1.5 meters long, and his stalk was maybe 1/8 of an inch thick, or 0.3 centimeter, and it was this little spindly thing that was all sinuous and bent and wrapped, and it only put out enough stalk material to make the vascular bundles to conduct the juices from the root ball up to the growing machinery. I learned a lot from space sunflowers, and what I learned is that plants are like people. They're intrinsically lazy. They only put out as much effort as the environment requires. 9. Sunflowers are older than you think. Sunflowers may live just for 1 year, but they have been around for a long time. Fossil evidence suggests that these sunny blooms have been brightening up our world for millions of years. However, the domestication of sunflowers by indigenous people in North America likely began around 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. These early agricultural practices involved selecting and cultivating sunflowers for specific traits, such as large seeds. The sunflower we recognize today, with its large flower heads and seeds, is the result of this long process of cultivation and selective breeding. 10. Sunflowers light up everything. Sunflowers are known for their cheerful and sunny appearance. However, they are not just for aesthetics. Their nutrient-rich seeds are beneficial in many ways as well. They can be used to make sunflower oil, a snack, animal feed, bird food, or even medicine. They are also symbols of happiness and hope. Sunflowers also inspired an art movement. Van Gogh's famous series of paintings titled Sunflowers showcased the beauty and symbolism of these flowers. His vibrant and expressive depictions of sunflowers have become iconic in the world of art and have influenced the development of the post-impressionist movement. Everything about sunflowers is positive. I love sunflowers. What do you think of sunflowers?